Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to look at 5 tanks, just 5 random tanks that could do with a bit of loving. Yes, Wargaming, please buff these tanks. Now, not all of the tanks are like really bad, but I've just sort of went through my the tank list and thought, you know what, this could deal with buffing, because there's nothing exciting about it. They could make it better and, you know, just overall just buff them a little bit. So, you know, some people may love these tanks and that is absolutely fine. And other people may absolutely hate them. So the first tank on the list, I thought, you know what, the T28 lightweight, and I thought, you know, this could deal with a bit of buffing, because when it comes to light tanks, I mean, when this was first introduced into the game, it was actually very good, and obviously over time it's just become less favorable, and not many people play the tank really. It does suffer. I mean, it is a very quick tank, and don't get me wrong, it's not a bad tank when you play it in when you play it correctly, but they could just up something of the tank. And you know, the tank's not OP by any means, and if they just change a few things, maybe give it some turret armor, or maybe I don't know. I don't know how to change these tanks, but I'm just looking at it like, you know, just give it something to make them great, like make it great and make people want to play these tanks. So that is one tank on my list. Moving on to tank number 2. Now, we've gone with, of course, the T28, because not only does this need a little bit of love, it needs a miracle, honestly, because it is such a bad tank. Now, of course, you can perform well in the tank. I'm not saying you're never going to have a good game because it's a bad tank. There are some good things about the tank at least, and one of them is the gun, the DPM. That is pretty good. And, you know, the speed is so freaking boring. Like, honestly, the armor, I think, is boring. It doesn't work all of the time. I mean, here I get lucky. Against these two guys, I get very lucky. And you're going to not be able to do this 90% of the time in getting them bounces. But honestly, the T28 needs something, because it is so boring. When I first sort of saw this tank, the front armor, it was like impenetrable. People really struggled to penetrate your front armor on this tank. Now people get through it like butter, apart from that guy there, and it definitely needs a change. It definitely needs a buff. If they're going to keep the armor like it is, give it a bit more speed or something. It definitely needs something to make people want to play this tank, because right now nobody wants to play the T28. They only play it if they absolutely have to. Moving on to tank number 3. Now, this one, I've gone with a tier 9 tank, and because, again, when I first played this tank, you can even go back to my very first video on the Motion. I stated in that video that I think this is going to be one of my favorite heavies in the game. It was many years ago, but how that has changed. Honestly, there's too many, for a super heavy in tier 9, there is just too many weak points in this tank. Like, it's supposed to be a super heavy. It is, but it's not. I mean, no one wants to play this tank. As soon as you start turning your turret, then your turret becomes weak. As soon as you start turning your tracks become weak. You've got that massive hatch on top that is also very weak. It's slow, the DPM is low, and yeah, it's just not an exciting tank. You know, if Wargaming just gave it a buff, I don't know how, like maybe give it more alpha or something, then it will be a lot more interesting for people to want to play this tank. Because when this line was first released, honestly, everyone wanted to play it. The VK 100 in tier 8, it was overpowered. Now nobody wants to play it because they are just boring tanks. So Wargaming, buff it somehow. I don't know how, but just buff it. So moving on to the next tank on the list. Now this one could be a bit controversial. Now I've gone with the Object 140, and there's only a reason that I've gone with the Object 140, because all the other tanks around this tank, I mean, you've got the T62, you've got the E50, you've got a T22, the Object 907, you've got so many good tanks, even the Leopard 1, that have all been buffed, that have all had love to the tank, whereas the Object 140 has always kind of just been left. It's kind of been left, and over time it's just become, you know, what's the point in playing this tank when I can go and play the T62 or a T22 that is just much better in every single way. So I'd like them to make the Object 140 relevant again, because when I first joined the game, it was Object 140s absolutely everywhere. Now, no one wants to play it, because if you do want to play a Russian medium, you would go and play the T62. Moving on to the final tank on this list. Now, I had to go with this tank because I always state it, you can have good games, like there's some good things about the tank, but overall, like, you're not going to have a game like I've just had here. This is actually a really good game that I have. Now, the aim time, the alpha, the turret, those are all nice things about the tank, but overall it's not a fun tank to play. When you come up against tier 10, usually you are going to struggle in the WZ120. Now, seeing how good the 121 is, why can't Wargaming just buff this to make it a lot better than it actually is? I don't know how, maybe even just a slight touch. Give it a little bit more gun depression, because at the moment it pretty much has, what is it, 3 or 4 degrees? Absolutely nothing. Give it about 5 or 6 degrees of gun depression, and that is all this tank would need. Like, it doesn't need anything major doing to it. I just think that the positives are not as good as the negatives outweigh the positives, and I think this has the opportunity to be a very good tank with the aim time and the accuracy, you know, the alpha. You know, we're going to get behind this guy and do over 500 damage HE to that Kranwagen. So it has the opportunity to be a very good tank. And when you see the WZ121, that is a very good tank. I just think Wargaming could buff the 120 a little bit. And there's plenty more tanks in the game that could do with a bit of buffing. And again, they don't need major buffing. Not all of them need major buffing. It's like the 120. Give it another 1 or 2 degrees of gun depression. That is all it would need. So let me know in the comments below, what tanks do you think needs buffing? Let me know. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye.